Alright guys, and here goes even more awesome games from Quantic Hyun. Here he is, spawning in the top left corner of this Aquilon Wastes map, if I'm not mistaken, my dear friend Jack. Which is not with me anyway. Alright, on the other side of the map we have none other than PWF Bubbas. And Bubbas sounds kinda like a small children in Polish, but hey.
Yeah. But yeah, so my microphone was muted, so everything that I was just saying, nobody heard. Awesome. Very good.
Yeah, so, have we been... This is Hyun, right? Because you just messaged me something about,
yeah, so...
Hyun.
Hyun is a player who is on Quantic who plays Terran. Hyun is a Zerg player who used to play on TSL. They're two different players, but they're both on Quantic.
Isn't
so
this the right Hyun?
TSL player, Hyun.
It says so in his name. It's Hyun.
Right.
It's not Hyun. It's Hyun.
It's right, but this is Seo Hyun.
All right.
Two players.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thanks for explaining that.
No problem. It's kind of confusing.
Yeah, well, it usually is with the Korean players, if I can be honest. But you know, when you're dealing with Western players, they usually have very separate nicknames, and it's kind of easy to get confused with the Koreans. Although
yeah, sometimes they just end up naming themselves after their names. We're just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, and a lot of people, although you know I have been watching GSR for so long, it would have been a sin not to know. But a lot of people have been asking me, what's up with MVP? We have, you know, MVP the player, MVP the team. What happens if MVP joins MVP? So I can already imagine that Korean announcer's voice saying, I am MVP, MVP. So hey. Okay, yeah. So the first game between these two guys is up. I will just change this SEO Hyun on the overlay. Here you are. My dear friend, we want you to have a separate identity. And he's going for an offensive pylon. Is he going to do some form of a very offensive build? We already have the mothership core. The pylon is there. Ah, I know what this is going to be.
Alright,
yeah, a Stargate.
Ooh.
It's going to be a proxy Stargate. I can my nose already is twitching, so that's a Stargate. Yeah, not twitching, itching. Twitching is something else. Thank God I have two halves of brain that think separately, and they can point out mistakes to one another.
Very good.
Oh, but this scout from Hyun, it's going to be huge, and this strategy will not have a single chance of success. Or will he try to save it with a stalker? I think he is, but there are two more. Oh no, there's a huge group of Marines. No, this is not going to work.
Oh no, he's not going to make it out of there. I really hope that he cancels that Stargate.
Yes, he does.
There's the cancel. He realizes that hope is lost and it's time to go on to plan B.
Yeah, it's not Star Wars. There is no new hope here. This is... Now the question is, will we move on straight to the Empire Strikes Back? Or will it just stay no new hope, mate?
I think we're going to move on to the Barracks Strike Back because we've got 5 barracks.
Oh, yeah.
Seo Hyun really liking his Marine play, going with heavy Marine, no gas taken. That was probably going to put on some pressure. I mean, we saw him do it in TVZ. Maybe he'll be doing it in TVP as well.
Okay.
So many barracks.
That's kind of interesting. No gas, yeah, no gas for the Terran. So Seo Hyun will be just going for a pure Marine play. Now, there have been some players that use that style in Wings of Liberty. I'm not so sure, you know, how relevant this is in Heart of the Swarm. And this is why Heart of the Swarm beta and watching these online tournaments, casting these online tournaments is such an awesome job. Because you are discovering new things as you go.
Bubbas with the defense, a zealot and a couple of sentries, trying to get that expansion up, but Seo Hyun has the expansion up sooner, so he's going to have the economic advantage going into it. It's going to be on Bubbas to get something done.
Yeah, you're right. And he already has a lot of sentries, so that kinda builds up towards him being able to counter that mass of Marines. Because if you have Guardian Shield and a bunch of Stalkers, what it gives you is a total of 4 points of armor. And if you look at Marines, they only deal 6 damage. So 6 damage minus 4 points of armor that you can get with a Guardian Shield plus a regular Zealot or a Stalker means that Marines are only dealing 2 points of damage. And although that doesn't apply to buildings, and we will see how Bubbas going to deal with that. He's going to cancel the Nexus. I'm not sure that was a good choice, although he had...
I don't know.
Well,
I don't think he
minutes.
could have taken it. You know, I don't think he. I think if he walked down the ramp with those sentries, he would have lost everything.
Didn't
right now,
he
he's just
have
trying to
enough
hold on,
minerals for a couple of Stalkers?
Yeah, he had enough, and he warped them in. But I don't know if he would have had enough time to save that Nexus. And Seo Hyun pushing his lead even further ahead, delaying this expansion by an incredible amount.
Exactly. So right now, Terran is in an advantage. Let's see how we're going into income part. And on the income tab, you can see that he's mining nearly 1,200 minerals per minute. That's around 30% more than the Protoss. And Protoss is the one who is always power hungry, mineral and gas hungry, and that's not good. You don't want to be in such a position.
Definitely not, and it's just so great to see players, when they have an advantage, just taking the advantage just as much as making the Nexus cancel and just walking away, going back home and saying, I'm so far ahead you can't even touch me, maybe I'll even take a third. I can pretty much do whatever I want right now, and just
on this map,
doing that freedom.
What I love about, I'm a walking Heart of the Swarm commercial and advertisement, but what I love about Heart of the Swarm even more are these destructible rocks towers, where you can, well, you can just shield yourself off from any attacks, and right now going for this third is actually extra safe, because Protoss can't even get past these rocks without spending significant amount of time trying to destroy them.
Yeah, and I mean, he doesn't really have too much of an army to move out on the map right now. He's got one Colossus, but it does not have enough support with gateway units right now to deal with this massive Marine Marauder clump.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and one Colossi isn't very cool, although he has a lot of energy for force fields. Oh, well, this small
Oh, this is a nice little catch for him. He's gonna pick up a couple of units. He needs every little unit that he can get, so...
Yeah, there's one single Marauder that got stuck between the force field and the rock, was thinking, oh my god, I shouldn't have eaten that cake yesterday. Now I am so fat, I can't get through, and yeah, that's why someone offers you a cake. Just consider that tomorrow you may be trying to squeeze in between a rock and a force field.
Yep. I mean, and that happens all the time. You never know when it might be your turn to be squeezed between a rock and a force field. So yeah, reconsider that cake.
Reconsider that cake. In fact, I had like 3 pieces of cake this afternoon, but okay. Yeah, some leftovers from Valentine's Day. Yeah. So I'll be extra careful not to run into any force fields tomorrow.
Yeah, I would definitely be extra careful.
Oh yeah, or I will just go air. And,
oh yeah, that's another option. If you eat too much cake and go into the air, it's gonna cost you some extra fuel though to lift up all that extra weight from the cake.
Yeah, with being so fat, I can probably be a carrier or something like that.
Yeah, probably a capital ship of some sort.
Yeah.
Battle cruiser, perhaps. Alright, so we got 3 bases for both players. Right now, the supply lead is massively in the favor of Seo Hyun right now.
Although
140
Seo
to
Hyun,
90.
Oh, one interesting question I have. Does the worker count on your base take into account the amount of meals you have on a base?
I'm pretty sure that it does not.
I'm
absolutely sure that it does not.
Okay, awesome. So I just wanted to point out that worker saturation was not perfect for Seo Hyun, but it's getting perfect again. He just had slightly too many workers in his main.
Yep. He's moving out. Vikings Medevacs, the
Oh,
classic
wow.
Wings of Liberty Force, even
Yeah.
the factory trying to lead the charge, falling behind.
164 supply against 98. That can't be good.
Yeah, and the army supply is 110 to 45. So this is more than twice the force, almost 3 times the force in attacking power that Seo Hyun has, and it's going to take some sort of a miracle. He's going to have to force feel like his life depends on it.
If I were Protoss, I would just start looking for a toilet nearby, and oh my god, the force is on, and the battle is upon us. Seo Hyun doing a fantastic job of surrounding.
Concave.
What a great arc, and this has been one of the quickest GGs after the battle starts that we have seen in the history of Heart of the Swarm so far. Pretty decisive
well
victory, I would say.
Seo Hyun just taking the advantage and pushing it over the edge.
Exactly right. So I'll be back with you guys in a very short second. Don't go anywhere. Okay guys, there was an information that Goody versus Choosy is available, but we'll stick with Hyun for now, don't you think? Don't you think? I mean, I'm not asking you if you're a thinking person. What I'm asking is, don't you think it's a good idea? And we are live, so I'm just talking to myself, and that can kind of seem awkward. But I have done this so many times already. I'm not really bothered.
I had no idea. It's very difficult for me to tell from this perspective whether you're live or not. But now that I know, I think sticking with Hyun would be great.
Yeah.
Definitely interested to see more of this really interesting style that he's coming up with, just making tons of Marines, perhaps in all matchups.
Okay, just typing Hyun for an invite. Okie dokie. We are being invited right now. Dum 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 dum. Okay, guys. So, how did you like the game so far? By the way, because that's something very interesting for us to know. We are always looking for even more players to be here. Oh, and QXC is spectating. Wow, that's sneaky bastard. Dum 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 dum. Okay, both of the players are ready. We are in the lobby. The map is going to be Newkirk City. If I could sing, I would just... you know what the song is that I would sing right now.
I don't know the song that you would sing right now.
What is... I'm extra bad at singing, so I won't even attempt, but it goes like we build this city on rock and roll, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so
that one, yeah.
I will not even try. You know, whenever I try to go for how you call that? When you stand in front of a crowd and you have a microphone and they are just laughing at you because you can't sing, but everyone pretends you can.
I think it's called embarrassment. I don't know exactly what you would call that.
But also it's called I just keep losing words out of my head today. It's karaoke. Thank you very much. So as soon as I start doing karaoke, everyone just leaves, and actually the guards just take me down, and I need to spend the whole night working at the pub because I have brought them so many losses that night. So this is why I don't sing as a general purpose.
Well, know your strengths. Very important thing to know.
you know, strengths and weaknesses.
That's right.
Also, probably I would be a good singer as a dwarf singer if you would just, you know, bring me to a tavern. You would give me 5 beers and then just give me some jolly good song to sing with everyone else as the background, and
Yes,
I would be a short bearded fellow. I would probably do all right at singing, but yeah.
Well, I mean, mostly it's the beard that helps. When you
Yeah.
have the beard, it projects the voice and keeps you on key. Yeah.
Yeah, and also being able to do something like la 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 la.
Right. That kind of a song.
Yeah.
Almost orcish. Almost orcish.
Yeah. Do you know I can pretend the orcs from Warcraft 3?
I am aware. I've heard it. I've heard it
Yeah.
once before.
We need more lumber. Zap zap. There's something you're doing. So that's I can do a lot of impressions, but enough about me. Let's talk about the players. We have CO Hyun going for an extra fast expansion again. This is Command Center first, and his opponent, the Bubbas, going for... It's not the Bubbas, it's just Bubbas. Although he may be the Bubbas, since he's the only one. But we have one gate core, probably into an expansion.
Yeah, in TVZ, we're still seeing a lot of the one gate core stuff. But we do know Hyun likes this double barracks against Protoss right now. No gas or anything like that. I want to see if it works again. I'm interested in it. Bubbas lost the last game to it, and he knows that it's coming, so maybe he'll make some sort of adjustment. We'll have to just see how he reacts to it.
By the way, a short announcement, guys. If you're watching this, I would like to remind you that you have a chance to win a copy of the Heart of the Swarm after it launches. What you need to do is to just go to Team Liquid and make a comment on one of our threads, either on the thread about the tournament or on my personal stream thread, wherever it is. You just need to leave an opinion, and as soon Heart of the Swarm launches, we'll be we'll be drawing one copy of Heart of the Swarm each month for one random person that has made a comment and has gave us some feedback. So I think it's a cool way of trying to encourage you to share what you think and feel and love about the Egoist TV. If not, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that people can participate like that. It's not just sort of a, okay, leave a comment, we'll give you a thing. It's actually constructive, so we can figure out what people like about what we're doing, and so that we can improve.
Yeah, that just increases the number of awesome things on the world, because one, you get a copy of an awesome game. Second, we get more awesome every day thanks to your comments and feedback you leave. So,
right, and you get a more awesome experience because we're more awesome.
Exactly.
And it goes in a cycle, you know.
Yeah, so the awesomeness
awesome.
increases exponentially, really. Just
Very
because
powerful.
you left a comment. Think about that. Pretty mind-blowing, if you ask me.
Absolutely. One comment can change the world. Start a chain reaction, you know.
Yeah. It will change the universe as we know it. And
yeah.
It seems Hyun is going for a couple of barracks less than recently. I wonder how many barracks Obama is playing when he's doing Starcraft 2.
I have no idea how many barracks. I don't know.
He goes only for one. This is the Barack Obama. Sorry, I don't know why, but jokes about US presidents just come so naturally. It must be one of the laws of physics. But anyway, Bubbas doing a very good job with his stalker. He is just, you know, poking with it and regenerating shields. Shortly after, hasn't lost a single point on health.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting. Bubbas doesn't really need his observer out too quickly when he scouts that his opponent doesn't have any gas. So he knows that no Widow Mines are coming, there's no Proxy Factory or Starport or anything like that. He doesn't have to worry about Reapers. So it's actually a little bit of a load off his shoulders, and he can prolong getting that observer out to bump up his economy.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So we will see. Yeah, it's having a stalker there You need to be careful, because it can only be done if the Terran doesn't have any Marauders. As soon as he has Marauders, or, you know, 30 seconds after that, you need to assume, okay, he has concussive shells, I need to run away, because otherwise your Stalker will just get caught up into that. But besides, it's just very safe, and I think... I'm not sure if he invented that, but Nanyua was the player who has been playing with that style the most, just keeping the Stalker for an absurd amount of time in front of his opponent's base.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to do with any race. Just leave a Zergling outside, leave a Stalker outside, something fast that can escape from your opponent if you need it to. But just knowing if your opponent is moving out, or even taking expansion, I mean, it's pretty reasonable to assume that your opponent is not expanding. Or not moving out to take an expansion. Of course, he'd be building in his base if you have that scout there. And he switches it out. This is the changing of the guard. The Stalker goes home and says, okay, the Observer comes in. All right, my turn.
Yeah.
Now I will watch the front of the base.
I can even imagine a small high five they do while they exchange, just like the boxers do on the ring. Sorry, the wrestlers. We're going to tag him, you know. By the way, someone has made a lovely comment on the chat. I don't even need to watch the game. The commentators are so high. I'm not sure that he meant high in that aspect. I don't think
that was the word.
Yeah. Hey dude, don't you think this game is sweet?
Yeah, no. Man. No, I don't. I'm not high currently.
This totally blows. No, we're not high in that aspect, but if you made it meant it in a positive way, then your comment is very well taken.
No, I'm sure that he did.
Not that we have anything against, but it would just be not professional.
Of course not. No, just I need to be at 100% mental capacity to be focused 100% on what's.
Exactly right. Now we have Bubbas going for a third base, exactly like the last game, although this game he hasn't lost his natural, so he hasn't been thrown off balance, and I think it just may work better for him this time. Although army supply wise, Terran is still ahead. Now this is quite normal for Terran versus Protoss, especially if Protoss opts for a very fast tech. And oh, he needs to be careful, because CEO Hyun had his Medivacs up front. That's one of the easiest ways to just lose them just before the battle starts.
Yeah, the Medivac's 2.5 speed, the army 2.25, so it's slightly faster are the Medivacs. And he's actually going to pull himself way out of position.
Oh my god, and this Nexus has...
30, pulls the cancel.
Yes, it had to be cancelled, there was no way of saving it. This
also
Viking...
losing his mothership core.
Oh, that was close, that was so close. And he doesn't want to lose the mothership core that has full energy. It means a couple of stops, time warp, sorry, and one giant cannon at the top of your Nexus. So it wouldn't be good to lose that at all. Hyun is not going for any drops.
Up the ramp, here he goes.
Oh.
A lot of damage pulling out of those Colossus, but he takes one down with the target fire. The second one staying up to deal a lot of damage. Those are really great force fields.
Yeah, the force fields I think were the defining point of this battle, and they were in fact enough for Bubbas to win this, even though he had a smaller army count. A very good play by this Protoss. He was extremely patient. Now, many people just get nervous once they see such a huge army in front of their base, and they want to move out right away. And now Bubbas will be doing a nice little bit of chasing around the map, which is always cool. And he's going for his third base again.
All right. Yeah, that was a really nice engagement and very cost-effective from Bubbas, and he's going to retake that third. Done taking the further away third here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there is the smell of blood in the water if you're a shark, and I'm most certain that right now Bubbas is in a shark mode. Although you need to be careful, you know, what are the waters you're trying to swim in. And oh, by the way, even though he's going to lose this, I really like this move by CEO Hyun, just building this command center in case. That was just in case Bubbas wouldn't check this location. Even after losing such a huge push, the Terran can afford to take another command center, and this is exactly what Hyun was trying to do. Very good.
Yeah. definitely.
Drop is on the way, although it has been spotted, and it may not do a lot of damage, but this stalker will not be going back home for Christmas. The cannon gets taken down, but I'm not sure much more damage will be done. Oh, but then the drop escapes. Oh, with losing only 1 or 2 Marines, that has dealt more damage than it should have.
Really, really nice building placement by Bubbas. So many times we see the Terran drop in and take out the tech structures that are at the edge of the base, but if you notice, he's putting all of his tech structures in the most difficult to drop area.
Yeah, between his
really
natural
nice
and
placement.
his main. Yeah, you're exactly right. That's a very good comment actually, and it's very smart play by Bubbas. And sometimes players just don't control the space in their base enough, and he has even made sort of a wall with his gateways that they appear to the Terran as the natural target, and he still has a lot of space to move around his base. Very good player, very solid player by the way, Bubbas. I haven't casted his games before. Do you know this guy?
No, I don't know him at all. I looked him up on Wikipedia and I couldn't find anything on him. Up and coming player,
or maybe a Smurf.
Or maybe oh, good point. It might be just a Smurf of a well-known player, not telling us who he or she really is.
Yeah, and we have Marine King Prime in the background giggling. I'm playing as a Protoss.
Is that how it sounds? The Marine King giggles? I didn't know.
Marine King probably wouldn't have played the Protoss. He is so perfect with his Marines. He probably would be able to win this tournament, or at least to get to semi-finals by only using Marines against pretty much anything. But that's Marine King Prime. Yeah, and we have another run by, and oh, yeah, the Nexus was transferred into this huge cannon, but the Protoss' army was out of position, and again, not very good. Oh wow! That storm was huge, and now Archons are chasing down this army. Not very good for Terran again. I feel that Protoss has a strong advantage. Another warping during the battle. Very solid play by Bubbas, and Terran has to back away. And I think right now Bubbas will just go for it.
Absolutely. He's gonna make a push towards the third. Like, you take my third, well, I'm gonna take your third. We'll be back and forth for quite some time.
Slap mine, I'll slap yours. Alright, and another battle is upon us. Even though the SCVs are participating, I'm not sure they will be of much use against the Colossi. Although the Colossi get shot down by the Vikings, but there are not enough. And Quantic Hyun says GG, and we have a deuce? How do you say that? We have a...
we have a tie score.
A tie, thank you. Why? I've got this feeling that drops just keep, words keep dropping out of my head today. I'm missing something at all times.
You know what might be happening? Drops might be coming into your head and taking out key memories.
Oh no!
Key word structures in your brain. That could be happening.
The next morning I will see my wife and say, "Who are you?"
Oh no.
Then, oh yes, sorry, Jessica. Oh, sorry, Edita.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So we have 1-1, and we're waiting for game number 3.
So it's Quantic Hyun's pick. What map do you think he'll go with? Because it is loser's pick, right?
Difficult to say. I would be able to say in Wings of Liberty because I have kind of learned the map preferences, but here it's he can go for anything. So we're waiting for an invite. Again, we're not very sure what the map is going to be. In the heart of the swarm, so many things are undefined yet that we can pretty much get anything. By the way, if you have just joined the stream, I wanted to remind you that if you go to Team Liquid and leave a comment on one of our threads, either my personal thread or the thread about our tournament, you will be participating in the drawing of Heart of the Swarm copies after the launch. So, you know, the only thing you need to do is just drop a comment. Let us know how we are doing And that's it. That's all you need to do to participate. And by the way, next week or week after that, most definitely before Heart of the Swarm launch, I'm getting a badass background, because right now you can see the couch, you can see a very nice bookshelf I have. I'm not really, you know, upset by the bookshelf, because bookshelf in the background is always nice. But I'll be having a nice background, and it will all look like a studio.
Very nice.
It will even have Jägerisk TV logo. And let me tell you one more thing, it will be controlled by a remote. So
a background controlled by a remote? Is it gonna
yeah,
be like
it
a
will
green
be
screen?
hung on the ceiling, and you know, just before the show I'll be pressing a button, and the background will scroll down.
Oh wow.
Yeah, isn't that sweet?
That's pretty sweet, actually.
yeah, it is. I'm also getting a stereo mixer, so I can more easily control what's happening with the stream sound. And oh my god, all of this is getting even more and more professional every single day.
We have a question on the chat.
Yeah, a question on the chat. Let's see what is the question on the chat. When will we know who won Heart of the Swarm? During the Heart of the Swarm launch night, and we will notify you by a private message, so you won't lose the copy even if you're not paying attention. Again. I sucked these words in.
You could be paying attention. That could be a game that you've developed called Attention, where the player with the most attention wins.
A board game where you have 200 pieces, and as soon as you stop paying attention to one of them, it gets killed. And can you imagine? You would get a plug inside your brain, and the game would be able to tell which one of the pieces you are not paying attention to. And they would
Certainly
be dropping
possible.
And all of these would be shaped like marines or some shooting units, and they would shoot each other across the board, and as soon as you stop paying attention to one of your marines, you just lose him. My god, that would be such an awesome game. You know what, I need to go, I need to patent that.
Before Apple does.
Just the game of attention.
Game of Attention. Yeah.
Can you imagine two masterminds and imagine that I'm pretty sure Koreans would be badass at it, because
they're good at everything.
Yeah, they're good at everything. And can you imagine a game of top two badasses at that, while they are staring at each other's pieces for 2 hours, and then one of them tickles the other one's toe. All right. Anyway, we got sidetracked. The map is GSL Whirlwind, guys. We have 1-1 tie between these guys, and I think both of them are looking pretty strong, to be honest.
Yeah, we have another double barracks play from Quantic Hyun.
Yeah.
What looks like will be a gateway expansion out of Bubbas. Hard to tell at this point.
Yeah, hard to tell. We have one gas. That's kind of an indicator. He may still go for a fourth gate, which would be an option on a map like this. Although I'm not sure that will happen now. He used too many chrono boosts on his workers. So yeah, that narrows down the possibilities for our good friend Bubbas. Now let's see what Quantic Hyun does. 1 racks, no gas so far. So this is going to be an expansion too. Now, what I really like about two barracks openings is sometimes you are able to push insane amounts of pressure on your opponent, and it is at the cost of delaying your orbital command, but other than that it works awesome, and your expansion is extra safe. You're the aggressor in that scenario.
Yeah, he's got tons of units to defend, so he doesn't have to worry about throwing up a bunker too early, and he's got all this scouting. He's actually going to catch the probe.
Oh,
run! No, he's not. He's just going to look at it. They're going to exchange glances, and the probe is going to walk away.
No, Bubbas, don't do it! Don't do it, mate, don't do it! Stop! Run! Run, Forest, run! Yes, he ran away.
Float, float, hover, hover, forest, float away.
Yeah, hover faster.
Oh, he's taking a couple SCVs out here.
Oh.
Oh.
Is he going for a bunker pressure?
I don't know, he's got a lot of money in the bank. Yeah, that is
What
the
is
command center
this?
coming down.
Yeah, there is a command center, but like I said, just having 2 barracks allows you to put insane amounts of pressure on your opponent, and we may have Protoss that's not really aware of that. Although the Protoss
No, he
didn't
got a scout
opt-
off. He got a scout off and he canceled the
Ah,
expansion.
very
Forrest, Forrest the probe came back in, saw a couple Marines rallied out. So
Very
he's
good.
kind of prepared against this. He doesn't have enough
Kinda.
energy to have that Nexus cannon down.
Yeah, well, we still need 25 more energy. Not too good. Oh, wow. Yes, and the Zealot had soaked up so much damage. And the mothership actually lives. I thought he's going to target that, CO Hyun that is. And he didn't. So right now, Bubbas will be able to go for this Nexus. So sweet. He is still delayed by a mile, I would say. But then CO Hyun is on the other side of the map. And he's quite safe. I mean, if I were to pick up this game, this is the point where I would choose to. I'm not as good as CO Hyun, not even close. I mean, I couldn't even brush his shoes, but but still a very comfortable spot to be in.
Yep, throws up the 2 bunkers and he's totally safe. He forces the cancel on that expand and he takes another economic advantage with his 2 barracks opener. It's working out really well for him pretty consistently here against Bubbas.
Yep, right, so let's see what happens next. Bubbas will be having his own expansion. He's going for a robo facility. He knew, okay, the Terran is not going for anything Widow Mine-ish, and thus was able to delay this robo. Although, on a map huge like this, I can easily imagine the Terran would go for a hidden factory here, then just fly it over to the Protoss base and try to place a Widow Mine or 2 inside his mineral line. This has been so dominant in the beta recently.
Yep, CO Hyun giving his opponent a little bit of credit, saying, okay, I think that you'd be able to hold that kind of an attack. I'm just going to play my usual normal style and grab a small advantage and then keep pushing it and getting a bigger advantage until I win the game. Hopefully he doesn't have that kind of engagement like last game.
Oh, a very good position by CO Hyun. He did stand exactly at the edge of the vision, and thus he kind of anticipated where the Protoss will be trying to get back home through, and that could have ended in a lot of Stalkers being dead.
Yep, so we had the quick robo bay coming up off of 3 gates on 2 bases. Very similar 3-gate robo style. The observer is going to be coming out so we can get a full look at what's going on, and he does get there. He's going to see a very similar thing, except we do have the 3rd command center coming out a little bit earlier than the last couple of games.
Yeah, we have robotic bay finishing, or as some call it, the Colossus Den. I think they should rename it. Colossus Den would be so much cooler.
If they call it anything but robotics something, if they could call it anything but that, it would be great, because then we could say robo and we'd know what we meant all the time, and then we could say another shortened term instead of having to say robotics bay. 3 syllables is just too many.
They could call just, you know, Joey's place or whatever. It would still be better than Robo something. I couldn't count the times I have been mistaken between these 2 buildings, even though I have seen the names, you know, thousands of times. But still, I get them confused.
Something I just noticed, sort of out of nowhere, the starport takes exactly the same amount of time as the reactor to build, and that's faster building than the factory or the barracks. So like the easiest, fastest thing to build as far as production is actually a starport, which is the highest tech per turn.
But the difference is
wild.
around 5 seconds between these 2. Doesn't starport build for 60 seconds?
Starport builds for 50 seconds.
Right. Okay.
And 65 for a barracks. So yeah, it's actually pretty significant.
Right. That makes sense.
We do have the 3rd base landing. The mule hammer has fallen.
Yeah.
He'll begin mining out of that, and Bubbas taking the expansion further away from his opponent, so maybe that will be his plan to be a little bit less aggressive.
I wonder that, you know, at some point there will be an upgrade to the mules that they don't get destroyed, and instead of being dropped from an orbit, they will just arrive at a limousine, and they will just, you know, leave the limousine, and they will no longer have this timer above their heads, which will say that, you know, you have suffered so much falling damage that now you're going to fall apart.
Yeah, I mean, is that what it is? You know, within the lore, why does the mule fall apart? You know, is it because it's taken so much damage from the orbital
Why
drop?
did the chicken cross the road?
Yeah, you know.
Philosophers have
speaking,
been...
you know.
Oh my god. Yeah, we get better at this every time. I think our jokes will, you know, increase in ridiculousness over time even more.
Yeah, I mean, and they already are increasing in ridiculousness as the cast goes on, so the more hours we're casting, the more ridiculous they get.
Can you
and
imagine?
also each week, you know?
Yeah, can you imagine us casting Alan at some point? Ooh.
That would be pretty cool.
Right, but then we have a drop here. Very good placement of these poor stalkers that were not enough in numbers. And right now they have been picked up by Hyun. But then, again, a nice wall on the right side.
Another drop coming in the third at the same time. Perfect. We have some putting his opponent out of position.
Oh, good play with the mothership. Did you see that? He positioned his army near the natural, so he was able to defend that drop, but he positioned his mothership core in the third. Now, the problem with the current Terran's positioning is that, well, there was not enough surface damage, and all the probes there died. Ah, such a painful death. Multi-pronged attacks are one of the most difficult things to deal with in Starcraft 2, and the reason behind that is if you attack in 2 locations at once, and, you know, just one of your attacks doesn't go right, you still have done a lot of damage. If you defend in 2 locations at once, you cannot allow yourself not to defend any of them. So attacking is just so much more efficient. And oh my god, this Marauder again! I told you not to have ice cream yesterday, you fat bastard. You see what happens?
Yeah, and he will not be able to squeeze between a force field and a hard place. He will be eliminated, and that's how Gumiho has had so much of his success with Terran, just like massive multitasking, not necessarily perfect control in each place, but just being everywhere at once and dropping all over the place. It's just so efficient.
I think recently people have kind of forgotten that multitasking as a Terran is, you know, the way to go, because a lot of people have been complaining, oh, Terran isn't so strong late game. But then the players who have most success with Terrans are the ones who have the biggest multitasking aspect of it. And when you do 3 or 4 drops, well, you may not be strong in late game, but guess what? You're dealing enough damage to his economy that he won't even be able to reach end game.
I definitely love to see what a player like Gumiho would do with his speed boosted medevacs. I'm really excited to see the next.
Well, we will
Codex.
see that next GSL season, because the next GSL season right after the Heart of the Swarm launch will be already Heart of the Swarm. I love the fact that they are switching so fast.
Oh yeah, I think that's the way to go with everything. The date got announced nice and early, so all the leagues could plan it out.
Yeah.
Just going right into Heart of the Swarm right away, I think is the way to go.
By the way, did you know that IEM finals will be played as Heart of the Swarm? I'm not sure how they are yeah, they are going to be in Hanover. Isn't that at the 9th of March? That's supposedly the day where the Heart of the Swarm beta will be already done. But anyway, we have a huge attack here. Not even huge in size, but huge.
My god, look at those storms. They dealt so much damage, and Hyun just sat there and took it. And that did not turn out well for him at all.
He has been paying attention to the top side of the map, because there was a small nice arc that has managed to pick off a Nexus, but I'm not sure that was very efficient, because in the course, in the meantime, he has lost most of his army, because he just didn't micro properly during the battle itself.
Really nice spread. Observers all over the place for Bubbas. He's got that pylon spotting to see when that kind of stuff happens. Actually, the Zealot's gonna chase Seo Hyun into scouting this expansion that I didn't know about before. But he's just got a lot of vision out on the map, so he can put himself in a good position.
And this
for these
last
battles.
Marine that has been cut into by a Zealot just saw his legs speeding past him and said, "Oh my god, I'm screwed." And we have a huge Doom drop in the main with 5 medivacs. That's very difficult to deal with, although these storms look quite difficult to deal from the other side. And the
and 3 left behind.
Yeah, why us? Wait, wait! No, not going to happen.
Yeah, and in the meantime, he goes ahead and takes out that 4th base. The multi-pronged harass working out really well for Seo Hyun.
Yeah, so Seo Hyun, even though, as you said, he doesn't control perfectly, but just having the multitasking aspect of it is enough. And now, oh, well, the Protoss will realize, uh-oh, that shouldn't have happened.
God.
There are 2 High Templars here, but they don't have Storm yet. Oh, well, they need still a couple points of energy. But now the Terran started paying attention to the top base, and this attack now is picking up the speed. Oh, also a huge attack in the natural. I think that at this point in time, Bubbas is pretty much going for a base trade. Not a lot of things that he can do or he can save in his own base. He has to try to force the opponent, you know, in an even worse position. Although I'm not sure how worse can things get for Bubbas, or how would they get worse for Hyun. He can just lift off his buildings and fly away towards the rising sun. And that will
I think
be
a lot of this is going to have to go into the High Templar control. If he can get perfect control with these High Templar, he's managed to keep his main base alive to some extent. And he's sitting on top of the production facility, so he could come back here. Army supplies are actually in the favor of Bubbas right now.
Oh. Well,
so
yes, they are.
Efficiency. Is he going to drop these storms in the ramp?
Oh, a good
Zoning out
storm.
with the storm. He's going to be able to take this base apart.
What a nice spread. Do you see that spread with the High Templars? He has to be careful. There are ghosts on the map. Are there, though? Yes, there is one. So he doesn't want to get EMP'd. But besides that, Hyun is in a very good position. And actually, Bubbas may have done it. It seemed very unlikely because Bubbas was losing every single base of his own. But now he looks pretty damn strong.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's got the army advantage right now. He's got to push it for a victory at this point. He's down to 1 base, and his opponent has command centers all over the map. Going to have to
SCV
force
is
a battle
dying
here.
left and right, and Bubbas has to move out. He has to keep up the pressure. If he doesn't, he will probably lose this. And he's even taking the force that he had as at his own base to defend. He's taking that to join the attack, and he just needs to be careful about all of this. Oh my god, such a huge storm. All of these workers just getting obliterated. And this High Templar nearly escaped with his dear life. We have another bunch of happy running Zealots. And oh my god, Bubbas has done it, and he takes the victory and goes up in the tournament. It didn't seem very likely at a certain point in time, but now, wow, he has shown us the way, man.
Well played.
Yeah,
Well played.
very well
Pulls
played.
it off.
You have just gained the official Jägerlisk badge of respect, my friend. Really well done. Okay, guys, we'll be back with you with even more crazy games after a short commercial break, so don't go anywhere. You're watching Jägerlisk TV. For you, casting is myself, which is Yegwen, and the awesome Jack Attack, who is with me.